who else wants to, who else is going to show up here? Could I ask this? I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. We are recording the session, but as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, but we are not recording the faces or the names. Those aren't included. Is that correct, Gail?
I'm
Can you
sorry,
hear me?
Daryl. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I'm just saying we're
Ah,
recording it, but it's not recording the people that's here. It's just
gotcha.
recording me,
Sure,
right?
sure,
Okay, great.
sure. Let's see if this
Yeah.
works. Yeah, there we go.
All right. Well,
Sorry
there's
about that.
Georgia.
That was my bad,
Hey.
not Daryl's. That was my bad.
All right. Good. Good to see you. Elliot, good to see you. Georgia. Lots of names. David Williamson. Thanks. Glad to see you too. Patrick. All right. Cool. Oh, Janice. I didn't know if you'd make it. All right. Well, you didn't have to cross the border. That's a good thing. Janice and I talked about that a few times in the last few years. All right. Jay. All right. Jay from New Zealand. What time is it there, Jay? I don't know. We're not letting people talk, so I should unmute. I should unmute you if I want to hear you. John, good.
It's 2 p.m.
2
on
p.m.
Friday.
All right. All right. Well, that's right in the middle of good. All right. Okay. Well, we have 24 people signed up. 6 could not make it. Um, and I thought then there may be a few just randomly show up. So, Gail or Sharon, if you see new people come in, they're probably fine. Just go ahead and let them in. Okay, well let's begin then. Thanks for coming to this preview of our beginning of. Oh wait, there's Sherry. I'll let her in real quick. Preview of the Institute for Secular Leadership. I'm glad you're here, but I'm fucking excited that I'm here. This is really something I've been waiting for 13 years to do, and to kind of illustrate what I mean, 13 years ago, Dan Shia, Dan might come tonight, I don't know. Dan Shia and I had a discussion when I was in San Francisco visiting and met him, and we had an in-depth discussion 13 years ago about doing this very thing. So finally, it's coming to fruition. It's something I've been passionate about almost literally my entire adult life. Many of you came here to learn about the course, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to share some things about why this institute idea even exists and what I think we can accomplish if we work together on this. Many of you know me from my books, The God Virus and Sex and God. But what you probably don't know is in my professional career, I was an organizational psychologist, and I published this book with IPC Press, and I published this book with McGraw Hill back in the 1990s, early 2000s. Those are my contributions to the organizational. There, Gail's got a copy. Okay. Anyway, so my real passion has been leadership development almost my entire career. And I've consulted in almost every major industry you can imagine over a 35-year time period. And that's why I'm interested in secular leadership development, because I think there's a lot more we can do as organizations if we're more systematic, if we're more structured in the way we go about developing leadership. So that aside, I think the Leadership Institute is not going to be just another corporate training. I I actually abhor corporate training, even though I did it for 35 years. I did it a different way. That's why I was successful in that career, because I didn't do it the way most people did. And that's going to be true here too. I think while developing leadership skills is essential, I think I've got a larger vision, a more ambitious vision than simply the training. And I want to, because I want to create a connected collaborative network of secular leaders who can learn from each other and support one another, and when it makes sense, move together with a shared purpose. It's more than training. It's training gets us started. Training gives us a common set of guidelines, best practices, those things. But from the training should come leadership development that then can cooperate and reinforce those ideas that you've learned in this course or in other ways. I mean, this is just the beginning. It's not the end. So I think there's real strength in coordination, and there's real power in leaders knowing one another across regions, cultures, and even communities. And there's an enormous value in learning directly from people who are doing the work on the ground. And that's my vision. That's what I'm seeing here as we start this notion of a Secular Leadership Institute. So for more than 20 years, I have watched secular organizations struggle, not because they aren't intelligent, not because the leaders aren't intelligent, not because they're not passionate, not because they're not committed, but because leadership is often left to chance. Too often we hear the phrase, everybody's heard this one. Too often we've heard the phrase, leading seculars is like herding cats, or leading atheists like herding cats. And I believe that idea is not only wrong, but it's harmful. Secular people are humans. And like humans everywhere, they respond to clear missions, healthy structures, and skilled leadership. So if you say you can't lead because it's like herding cats, that tells me more about your leadership than your followership. And I think that's going to be a hard lesson for some people to swallow, I think, as a product of this institute. But I want people you're going to find in the course of our work together that one of the hardest things is to look at yourself as a leader and ask hard questions. And that will be a big, important part. But the fact that there's proof all around us of successful secular communities is proof that it's not herding cats. It's leading humans. And I only have to look down the street here in Kansas City Oasis, which I started and is thriving today with hundreds, thousands even of people involved in their mission in some way, shape, or form. The Houston Oasis that started the whole Oasis movement, still thriving. Denver Hub, Salt Lake City Sunday Assembly, Salt Lake City Oasis and Sunday Assemblies all across the world. There's tons of evidence that people are craving community in a non-religious setting. And of course, my own organization with Gail and the rest of us, Recover from Religion, that's a successful organization by any standard. And so these are real organizations that are doing real work, and I want to get to the bottom of why they're successful. And so we'll be talking to some of those organizations throughout the course that I'm going to come back to and talk about in a minute. At the same time, I see countless secular groups, even in major cities, struggle to get even 20 people to show up to an event. And they've been going for 10 or 15 years and can't get more than 20 people to show up to an event. I see organizations burn out. I see them fracture under conflict. I see them disappear entirely within a few years. And often they're depending upon one charismatic leader. When that leader burns out, moves away, or steps back, the group collapses. And all that energy, all that vision, all that goodwill is lost. Then the cycle doesn't grow. And the cycle starts all over again. You have to grow a whole new movement within that community. It really weakens the secular world to have these groups that just don't sustain. They're not self-sustaining. And I've met many people that poured their hearts out into secular organizations and activism, only to walk away discouraged and exhausted. And funny, all you have to do is look at the comments under my announcement in the Facebook, and you'll see some of those very people complaining that you can't do this, or, it's not going to happen because, I don't know, whatever reason. I think that made that comment yesterday on Facebook. But these were capable, passionate people. And once they're gone, they don't come back. the members of the group that were capable and passionate, they don't come back oftentimes either. So you lost a whole segment of people that you worked hard to get engaged, and now they're gone. And this is not a mysterious problem. In many cases, the leaders unintentionally undermine their own effectiveness, not from bad intentions, but from a lack of training, a lack of support, and most important, a lack of honest feedback about how they're actually leading. I don't know if I'm going to show my age here, but if you know what I'm talking about, you've got to be as old as I am then. Pogo. You remember the comic Pogo? George, I'll bet you remember it. Pogo and the comic strips. Well, Pogo had a famous saying, "We have met the enemy and they is us." And I think all too often that's what's going on with secular leaders. We met the enemy, and our own foibles, our own lack of training is undermining our effectiveness. So it's tragedy. It's tragic, but these struggles are preventable, I think. And with the Institute for Secular Leadership, we can change the pattern. And together, and I want to emphasize that together, because this is not going to be a Daryl thing. And I should say totally forgot. Forgive me, Sharon. I forgot to introduce you. Sharon McKean, look, if you see her in here. Yeah. Sharon, say hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Sharon has agreed. She doesn't know what she's getting herself into, by the way, but she's agreed to help me. And we've already been having some good work together and good conversations. But this is a we thing, and I anticipate some of you that are going to be in this early phase might even become key components of this initiative as we move forward. But I think together we can equip leaders with proven best practices and practical tools, and just as important, a supportive peer network. What I see is leaders all over the nation, world, because this is international. Right now, we've got people from as far away as Australia, New Zealand, and England, and they're going to be involved in this. And they sit in their own little world and they try to run an organization without ever talking to another leader in another organization. And I want to change that. I want us to start talking to each other, coordinating, sharing secrets, sharing techniques, sharing resources. And so that peer support will be a critical component of where I see the the Institute for Secular Leadership moving into. So it's not just a theoretical vision. I've just personally seen these struggling organizations stabilize and turn around in months, oftentimes when they receive the right coaching or the right structural support. It's not inevitable. I can't name names, and I won't name names, but people groups that I have done actually a pretty minimal amount of intervention and support and consulting with. And within months, the organization turned around on a dime and continues to thrive. More than one organization. So I know it oftentimes doesn't take much to help an organization get back on its feet and do some good stuff. So the Institute, let me talk about the Institute now. The Institute begins with 2 foundational courses, each consisting of 4 sessions. I've divided this up so it's bite-sized. People can take as much. They don't have to commit to long term. And these courses are established. They're going to help give us a shared leadership language, some core practices, some essential skills. And then the graduates of these courses become part of the Institute's ongoing leadership network, a growing reservoir of trained secular leaders who can continue learning from and supporting one another. Beyond the courses, the Institute will facilitate peer support groups exclusively for graduates. I know if you bring people into a peer support group that don't have a common base of knowledge, it really disrupts the ability to work together and to you have shared language. I'm going to give you some tools, some ideas, some concepts, some language, and you're going to want to start using that and using it to interact with each other And if somebody's in the group that's not gone through the course, then it kind of defeats the purpose. So peer support is going to be an important part of the component. And I know this model works because leaders don't grow in isolation. They grow through reflection and challenge, experimentation, and support. This approach not only improves leadership effectiveness, it dramatically reduces burnout. I've just seen this in my entire career. People burn out because they don't have the skills to do the level of job that they're being asked to do. I really balk at the notion of burnout. I don't like the idea. I think it's a cop-out oftentimes. When somebody's burned out, it oftentimes tells me they don't have the skills to do what they're being asked to do, or their goals are too high for what their capabilities are. That's the kind of thing that leads to burnout. It's not because, and I'm not saying burnout can't come from other places, but by far the most burnout comes from people who just don't have the tools they need to do what they're trying to do. So the courses, let me go through the courses to begin with. And let me stop right here before I get into that, because I'm kind of been on a roll. Can we unmute everybody briefly? Gail, can you do that? I'd like to stop and just entertain any questions you might have. And some of them, you may have questions about stuff I'm talking about earlier, but I'll tell you if that's where we're at. So anybody, any thoughts or responses, questions so far from what I've said? Can you unmute?
Yeah,
Anybody?
Daryl.
Dave, yeah, go ahead,
Hey,
David.
hey, glad to be hearing about this early on. I guess that's what Facebook gets us still.
Yep.
But and the email, I'm curious who's your audience for this, because I've always struggled to find new leaders, and I guess you can answer that on with that information. Who's your audience for this? How are you going to attract people? And if money is part of the problem with group building, how are folks going to pay for this? Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's two questions there, David. First of all, I'm looking for up and coming leaders, people who are not senior leaders. I'm not looking at the leadership of American Atheists. I'm not looking at the leadership of FFRF. I want the next generation of leaders, the people that are leading a small group in Toledo, Ohio now, and but in 10 years they may be eligible for a much higher leadership role. There are a lot of those people out there. I'm looking for people who are board members on local groups that want to improve their skills and want to develop their group and grow their group. Those would be the target audience. And there's a lot of those people out there. I talk to them almost daily. Second thing is, in fact, in the second, I'll talk about this later about finances. But I learned a long time ago, people don't respect what they get for free. And we've calculated all the costs for what we're going to try to do here. And $300 is about as low as we can make it. Makes sense. And I mean, try to get a corporate level training course. I charged $2,500 a day when I was in corporate training. So you're just, and it's not even that great a training oftentimes. So I don't know where people are going to get the money. If they want to pay for it out of their own pocket, if they want to ask their group to pay for it or help pay for it, that's up to them. That's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the second round. I'll come back and talk about that, is finances, how you fundraise, how you keep track of the funds, and some of the best practices around that, and the fact that groups should be finding ways to develop their leaders. If they want to have a good group, you're going to have to find a way to develop that leadership. So it's maybe not, I don't know if that answers your question, David.
I'm sure it'll come up again. Thanks, Daryl.
Yeah, it will. It always does. Thanks. And thanks for coming. It's good to see you. You and I haven't touched base in quite a while. Okay, so course number one, as I said earlier, these are really practical kinds of things I want to try and teach people. I also want to teach people tolerance for mistakes and learning through the errors. And that's going to allow people to come and take the course, go back, try something, and then come back again and explore. You know, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? And I've designed the course in this way. There's 2 weeks between each session. So session 1, then 2 weeks later, session 2. I've done that intentionally because I want people to have time to reflect, think, and maybe even practice some of the skills and ideas that they're learning. Some of those things you might not be able to practice on a regular basis, but if you can, I want people to practice. They want to come back and say, I tried that and it didn't work, or it did work. It's up. I don't care which way it goes as long as we're learning. Course number 1 is four sessions, and it will, when it finishes, I'm going to have a special evaluation session after course number 1 is finished, and then we'll move into course number 2. I want to get your feedback, the people who participated. We're limiting the courses to only 10 people, no more. There will be 2 or 3 observers, like Sharon will be with us. There may be 2 or 3 other people observing who may play a role down the road. They need to know what we're doing and why we're doing it. In the course, in every session, there's going to be a 1-hour kind of lesson, which I will talk kind of like what I'm doing now, explain some ideas, maybe allow some question and answer. And then we'll go in somewhere in the second hour, we'll go into Q&A and exploring what the first hour was all about. So we get to start applying it and thinking about how it would apply. I will say this, I am not here to solve all the problems of every group that comes to the meeting. People come here thinking, oh, I'm going to this course and Derry's going to solve my problems. That's not what we're going to do. In fact, if we get off track, nobody's going to take over the meeting and use 30 minutes of the valuable time of the meeting to talk about their problem. That ain't going to happen. What we're going to do is learn about the various problems and how they might apply to your organization. You're going to have to apply it to wherever you live. If you want consulting for your organization, you can talk to me later about that, but that's not the main focus of the course. Let me go through quickly the course contents. I think I could share my screen. I'll just show it to you briefly. Okay, share screen. Where's the share screen?
It's at the bottom, Daryl.
Yeah.
Under the green,
there it
there's
is.
a green. Yeah.
Yeah. When you close the screen down too much, it disappears, and that's what I had done. Okay. Okay. Can you see session 1 on there? Can you, is the
Yes,
screen
yes.
showing?
Yes,
Okay.
that's showing.
Okay, so session 1 is going to be kind of foundations and philosophy. There's going to be some activities, an exercise on why you want to be a leader, what you want to do with the leadership, what's the underlying motivation for you to want to be a leader. As we go through the courses, you'll see that reflection and understanding your own self is going to be really important if you want to be a good leader. Can't be letting your emotions govern your behavior, because your followers will pick that up. And I'm also going to be talking about leadership that is egocentric, leadership that takes possession, not ownership. And I'm going to talk a lot about things like possession versus ownership. Too many groups allow one leader to take over, and that stifles the growth of other people in the group. There'll be some homework. I'll try to give homework to people every time, or even pre-work. I may say before the next session, I'd like you to read this article. For session 2, we're going to be looking at behaviors and what happens when you behave different ways as the leader. What are some things that undermine leadership effectiveness? What are things that bolster and support leadership effectiveness? And how do you bring people into your organization? And how do you make sure people are a fit for your organization? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be looking at training. We're going to be looking at training, not training that we're doing like we're doing now, but what do you do when you get back to train people for the positions you're asking them to take? Do they have the skills to do what you're asking them to do? Third, and I've really almost wish I'd put this first, but there's other pieces I need to put first before I could do that, and that is meetings. And I think meetings are the core, the heartbeat of any organization. Poor meetings destroy organizations. Well-run meetings can make an organization run like a top, all 8 cylinders or whatever. In this third session, I'm going to be talking about meeting behavior, meeting leadership behavior. I'm going to be teaching you something called the 59-59 rule. I'm going to talk about how you pace meetings, how you deal with conflict in meetings. We'll deal with that a little bit in this one, but we'll come back and look at that later. Anyway, there's a number of things I'm going to be teaching in the third session. In the fourth session, we'll be talking about leadership delegation. There'll be an article that you'll be asked to read, a very famous article that will talk about what does it mean to delegate and how do you go about delegating? How do you bring people into leadership? And what's the danger of just bringing a warm body into a leadership position? So those are the first 4 sessions, separated again by 2 weeks. Somewhere between the third and fourth session, if I can make it work. If not, I'll do it a different week. We will invite. There's the 4 classes are pretty much mandatory. Now, what I'm asking people to do is commit to attending no less than 3 sessions. If you got to miss one, life happens. I understand, but you got to have 3 sessions under your belt, or you will not be eligible to go into the second set of 4 sessions, number 5 through 8. That's just because you got to have the foundation before you go to the advanced stuff, and I don't want to be having to teach the basic stuff to groups that are supposedly advanced. If that makes sense? So anyway, so 1 through 4, pretty basic stuff, but I'm guaranteeing there's some pieces you've never thought about or the angles you will want to explore. Second session, the second group of the second course, 5 through 8 sessions, is we're going to be talking about how you develop a learning and praising culture. If some of you have been inside of Recovery from Religion, and you've seen how much emphasis we put on catching people doing good, catch people doing what you want them to do, make sure you praise them. But there's a specific way you have to use praise. And most organizations do not know how to do it. In fact, they do it so badly that it backfires on them. It causes more problems. I've been in organizations, I've seen organizations where people were literally afraid to be praised by the boss for what it might bring down on them, like more work or something like that. And I'm not saying this is the same as corporate America, but there's certainly parallels because it's human behavior, not just corporate behavior. I'm going to be teaching you some feedback methods, a method I call the feedback, the FBI practice. We're going to be talking about culture in that particular session. And I'm going to ask you to practice what I've preached, so to speak, after session number 5, between session number 5 and number 6. And you're going to be asked to come back to the meeting and give us very specific examples of how you did it. And I don't care if you did it well or you did it badly. I just want you to do it. And then when you come back, we can all learn. And you're all going to fail to some degree, and you're all going to succeed to some degree. And that'll be the philosophy and the focus of this entire thing is get out there and make some mistakes so we can all learn. You learn faster when you know what mistakes you're making. 6 is we're going to talk about technology, communication. And we're going to talk about virtual teams because that's all RFR is. We're just a gigantic virtual team. And it's what a number of organizations are. And I think local organizations, even though you're physically within driving distance of each other, you may be working as a virtual team, whether you know it or not, because you have meetings by Zoom. You don't want to get in your car and drive 20 miles, so you have a Zoom meeting. Well, that's a virtual team. So we'll be talking about some virtual team skills here. And the 7th, then we're going to go talk about boards and finances and fundraising. And I'll be giving you some guidelines around that. Some big mistakes that I've seen so many organizations make come from how they structure their boards and how they structure their finances. And I'll tell you horror stories without names, of course, but horror stories of groups that missed enormous opportunities because they were scared to ask for money. And how do we get over this religious idea? And it is a religious idea, I think, that if you ask for money, you sound too much like a church. And I'm going to call bullshit on that in this session number 7. We are not a church, but every organization needs money, and we're going to talk about how to get that money, because I'm telling you, there's money out there you are not getting. And I think you deserve that money if you're providing a service people want to support. That's how simple it is. Session number 8, we'll talk about conflict, talk about culture building, long-term leadership development. And hopefully by the end of session 8, we'll do another evaluation session after that. The evaluation session, let me stop sharing here, is optional. I would really like everybody to attend it so that you can give us the feedback, but I don't count that in the required sessions that we're asking you to engage in. So let me stop right there briefly before we go any further. I'll open it up for some questions if you like.
Hey,
Joe,
Daryl.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Hey, number one, thanks for letting us see the syllabus. Thanks for letting us see the outline. That's pretty cool to see the topics that you're highlighting. My question would be, just confirm if I'm correct or not. I'm hearing approximately 8 weeks for course 1, if we're counting that 2-week cycle.
Yeah.
And then another one for course 2.
Right.
And would that be $300 each or $300 whole?
No, each. 300 each,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
And you don't have to take them both. I mean, it's up to you, but you can't take the second one unless you've taken the first one. It's that simple.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Other questions or thoughts?
I have a question. So, you
Yeah,
know,
John.
My wife and I, Casey, we're planning on, we have planned and we're hosting a conference, a new conference here in North Alabama. And I'm just kind of like, we're not planning on turning this into like a 501c3 nonprofit organization, or even like I guess your typical local like organization. Do you think that these classes, like just understanding like the leadership aspect of it, do you think those would still be beneficial for like our purposes, or do you think this is sort of not meant for that use case?
Well, let me just say my answer is yes, 172%, not 171, not 173, but 172% applicable to whatever you're going to be doing. If you're leading human beings, this will be valuable, period. I will guarantee it. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Oh yeah, it totally did. Yeah, I guess I was a little worried with the focus on like nonprofit organization and like fundraising and everything like that, which I think is still applicable to my use case. But I guess I was just a little worried that maybe I was going in the wrong direction with it just because of our current vision for the conference. So it's reassuring to know that it's still very valuable, like information and training.
Well, you're going to have a group of people. I don't know whether you call them board or not. You're going to be having regular meetings. You're going to have conflict. You're going to have financial responsibilities. I mean, what part of the syllabus I showed you wouldn't apply? I'm thinking out loud here. I can't really tell. There may be some parts of it because you're not strictly a nonprofit, but I pretty much think all of it would apply to some degree.
I mean, I got the feeling that it would, but I just wanted to know from your perspective, because
Yep.
I may be misunderstanding it or whatever.
Nope. Other questions or thoughts before I move on here? Okay, by the way, you have a reactions at the bottom, that heart thing. If you want to raise your hand while I'm talking, let me know. So the course starts on February 5th, and it'll proceed every 2 weeks after that. If you register, or by registering today, you've already put your registration in. That places you in the applicant pool. And I'm going to select 10 participants from this cohort out of I think we've got 24 people so far, 24 people that put their name in. Now I know a number of you aren't interested in taking the course. You just wanted to find out what it was about, which is fine. No big deal. But if you're accepted, you'll receive an acceptance letter and an invoice. And you'll have until January 22nd to submit the registration fee. But I want you to tell me, because your name is in that list, and if I will send you a letter saying you have been selected, and then you'll get the invoice. If you don't want it, just tell me. Tell me as quickly as you can, because I want to give that seat to somebody else, of course. So tell us immediately. And if you are not selected in this first round, you'll receive an email that will tell you what place you are in the waiting list for the next offerings. So, you might be third in line for the waiting list, and one other person or two or three fall out, then I'll let you know. But if you're in the waiting list on January 23rd, and you get in, then I'll give you another 24 hours or so, but you need to get the money in immediately. Otherwise, I'll have to give I gotta make sure I give everybody. I want all the seats filled if people want them. It's pretty simple, but I want to make sure everybody understands that. I also want to let you know that the first group that applied, which is you are the first group that applied. I'm going to put priority to you. However, I'm also need to balance. Literally, I've got the order in which you guys applied. So I will look through that order, but I also want to balance it because, and I love all my RFR people. Don't think I don't love you. I love you, but I don't want too many RFR people in this. I want a few, but not a lot. I've got several YouTubers, and I love YouTubers, but I don't want a bunch of YouTubers either. I'll let a few in, but so I'm going to try and balance is what I'm saying. That's my criteria. It's who came first and what's the balance so that we get a good broad exposure.
Hey, Daryl, I think we just lost you for a minute. I'm not sure if we got disconnected from your audio. You hearing me? Daryl? Is everybody else struggling with the same? Can you all hear Daryl? You can't hear Daryl. Daryl, we can't hear you. We can't. Can you hear me, Daryl? I think he's completely disconnected from his, maybe I can call him on the phone. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Still don't hear you, Daryl. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Daryl?
I think he's reading the chat. I just told him you were calling him.
Ah, okay. Yep. Yeah, he's got it on the phone.
Okay, Gail.
Hey.
Gil, I heard him on your phone if you want to try that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I think my phone may have messed it up. I don't know. All right. Sorry about that. So I was asking if anybody had thoughts, questions. I'm gonna go into the details here in a minute, but I'll just stop right now.
So I was wondering what you thought about, employees of small organizations participating. Would that be a good fit, do you think? It seems like it might.
Oh yeah, David, it would. The thing is, I'd like people that have leadership in their goals. They want to be a leader. If they're just, they're just Joe Blow and they never want to be the leader of any group or any part of that group, then they're probably not appropriate.
Gotcha. So maybe not like a comms person, but maybe a future ED, right?
Well, if they're on a board, if let's say they're a board level person, yes, absolutely, because they're part of the leadership team. If they're head of a program that has other people in it, then yeah, that'd be appropriate for them. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so we got a volunteer and operations manager that is tracking for a leadership role down the road if it works out well, and it seems like a good fit. But I just wanted to get your take on whether the paid aspect versus the volunteer aspect was a factor for you or not, or just us.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want people to know that I wanted to be in some kind of, or have the goal of being in a leadership role. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Other questions? Okay. Well, let me go through how this is going to work. Like I said earlier, to get started, I have 24 people signed up. I've got others coming in on the list. So this recording, this is being recorded. And when we're finished, I will put the recording up. I'll put it on the Facebook page for Secular Leadership Institute. And anybody can look at it then, because there's going to be questions. At least 6 people couldn't make it tonight. So I want them to have the opportunity to see what we talked about. If you've not registered already, you can do it right now. You can get in on the list and you'll be in the top list of people that I'm going to be considering. So go ahead and do that. And let me see here, Gail. Let me put that link. I'm going to put that in here. There's the link. If you put your name in there, then you will be officially in the list. Now, just because you put your name in the list doesn't mean you're obligated. If you decide in a few days you don't want to do it, that's fine too. I just need to know where I should put you in the list. So, finally, I think I would like to ask for your help, whether you take the course or not. I'd like to ask for your help in getting the word out. Help Sharon and I get the word out about what this is, why we're doing it, why we think it's important, why we think it's important for our particular community. And we all need you as a part of our team to help bring that to happen. And if you want to be a bigger part of the Institute as we grow forward, getting into these courses will allow that. We will not be bringing people into the Institute that have not gone through the training. I've already gotten people emailing me and texting me and say, hey, I want to help you with this. And so I said, okay, we'd welcome some help, but first thing you need to do is take the course. And they didn't sign up. That was too much, I guess. What you're going to learn from me in the course is I'm a psychologist, and I want to treat leadership as a good psychological activity. And what I know is people who have no skin in the game don't value the game. So if you want to be a part of what we're doing, you're going to have to jump through some hoops to get into that. And the people at RFR know we expect everybody to jump through some hoops before they get positions of responsibility. So nobody, I'm hoping some of you will want to be a part of this operation. And that's why I'm excited that you're interested in taking the course. So let's see here. I think I've hit all the points I wanted to hit. We've gotten through much faster than I thought we would. Thought it'd be closer to an hour, but I believe in starting meetings on time and ending them on time. So we're gonna we're going to stop right here and ask any more questions or have some discussion. And we'll stick around. Both Shannon and I will stick around, but beyond that, we'll consider it a complete meeting. The registration is officially open tonight.
Daryl, do you see we have a question?
Oh, no, I didn't. Go for it.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Moonbear.
Moonbear? Yes, you can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself, Moonbear? Did I screw up somewhere?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. We can hear you.
yes, I'm actually glad to be part of this meeting. I'm Mombe Rafat from Uganda, a young youth humanist leader here in Uganda. So, my question about the training or the institution, I firstly wish to know about its location and the dates that we are going to be, as in, is it going to be always online here, or it will be in a specific location where we shall always be going or gathering to have lessons there? Because I feel like I really have passion of being part and learning more so that I can run my organization well with well trained and being guided on what to do, because I've done
Bear,
this.
let me interrupt you. I want to get this. I want to understand. You've said several things. First of all, I can't hardly understand. The microphone is really difficult to understand. All the sessions will be on Zoom, right? Like we're doing it right now. That was one question you asked. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't understand much of the others. The microphone or is just not easy for me to understand. Does anybody else?
Yeah.
What did you hear? Help me.
Same. I think he was asking about specific dates too.
Oh, okay. The specific dates are, I had them in the email I sent you. I sent everybody. It's got all the dates in there. It starts Thursday, February 5th, and then February 19th, February March 5th, and March 19th. For those in Australia, if you're trying to take the course, you'll need to put it forward a day. I think you'll be a day later as well.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. So I really appreciate for the idea you have brought of bringing us together, learning from one another. Because really we need to do work when we are coordinated. So sometimes I've been always looking for who can guide me in the work that I'm doing.
Moonbear, I'm sorry, I cannot understand. The microphone is really bad. Are anybody else catch it? What Moonbear's asking? Oh, could you?
Yes, you can turn on your captions, Daryl.
Turn on my captions.
Or it could
Down
be
at the
beneficial
bottom.
to maybe just put the questions in the side chat since we're
Yeah,
having
put the
trouble.
question in the side chat. That'll help me a lot. Then my old ears don't work sometime. I'm going to go through the list of people here in a minute to make sure I know who wants it and who doesn't. But are there any other questions before we do that? And Moonbear, go ahead and put your question in the chat, please. Any other?
Well, one thing that came up in outlining the March classes or session, I know that we're going on the Free Thought cruise, and I think it's on a C day that the one is on there for the session. The March 19th session 4. Is that going to be in the evening do you 7 to 9 p.m. Okay, sorry,
Everything-
I'm just now
everything-
seeing it.
Everything will be 7 to 9. And you're welcome to join us if you're on a boat. I don't care where you're at.
Oh yeah, I think the only concern was like scheduling, like when it was, and I guess my ears missed the 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be this pretty much this time frame every time. Other thoughts and or questions? But Bear, did you put your question in, and I'll try and answer you.
Daryl, I'm asking this, I'm unofficial, but I'd like to ask between sessions with this cohort that you're going to choose, is there a space that members of the cohort will be able to communicate with one another between sessions? Should these folks plan to just use the Facebook page? Do you want to just do an email string? Is there any Discord space, some kind of space that where the members of the cohort can communicate?
Wow, Gail, you are right on target there. I have thought about this a lot. I have not come up with a good solution. So thank you for complaining.
For calling you out.
Katie,
No, I'm
my
sorry for
life.
that.
I'm
It's a
sure.
question I would have had.
Well, here's the deal. I'm sure we've got somebody in this group that could help with that, maybe on Discord or wherever. I don't know Discord well, but I really think that's a valuable piece. I mean, at Recover from Religion, we use Slack all the time, and we couldn't live without Slack hardly. And I know Sharon uses Microsoft Teams a lot, but if we could find a inexpensive or free solution, I'd be happy to entertain that. I've got a month to figure that out. So between now and when we start, hopefully I'll figure out that question. Thanks for asking it, though. That was a good. You're right. It's a very important thing to communicate between meetings. Okay, just a second. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Mum Bear. I appreciate that. Okay, Zoom channels. Okay, David, I don't know about that, but if that's an option, I have purchased a dedicated Zoom just for this endeavor here. So team channels as well. Okay, and Discord is free. You're right, and I know a lot of people use Discord, and we're kind of starting to use Discord too. So maybe I'll look in Discord. We'll figure it out. So what I want to do, if there are no more questions, if there are, I'm here to answer them. Any other questions? Okay, then what I want to do is I want to go through the list that I've got here, and I just want you to tell me yes or no if you're still interested and not interested, if you want to take the course. That's what I need to know. And that way I will know, not even to worry about it if you decide you don't want to take it. And there's no expectation either way. I don't want you to feel like there's no obligation. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not here to sell you a condo or anything like that. All right, let's start off with the first. I'm going to go through the list, and your rank in the list, puts you within the top 10, the 10 people I'm looking for, and I'll figure it out after that. Okay, Patrick, yes or no? I can't see or hear right now. Okay, yes or no, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm in, Daryl.
Okay. Okay, John Gleason.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, Joe Peralto.
Pellerito, like
Pellerito. My
like a
mistake.
burrito.
I should have
I'm in.
known that. Okay,
Thank
you
you.
are.
I'm in, Daryl.
Okay, good. Elliot Martin.
I'm in too, and I have a great line on some herbal supplements. Just hit me up afterwards, guys.
Okay.
Comes with a condo.
Katie, is Katie here? I don't think Katie's here. Okay. I'm just telling you, I've got people in the list that aren't here because they registered early. They'll be put in there. So I'm warning you. I don't want you to think, oh, I made it, because you haven't made it until I figured out who the people are. Next is Janice Selby.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, Janice. Uh, Kim Clark. Is Kim Clark here? Okay. Nope. All right. Marcus Rademacher. I don't see Marcus here. Okay. Alistair is not here. I know I couldn't make it. James Hodgson. James, you're not here, are you? I don't think so. Sherry D'Souza.
Daryl, Sherry had to leave early, but she's in.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see. Sean Davis. I don't think Sean's here.
You bet. I'm absolutely in. Sure.
Oh, okay, Sean. Sorry about that.
Nope.
You were covered up on my window.
Thanks for offering it.
And Sean's a neighbor of mine. Virtually, he's in Topeka. I'm in Kansas City, and we didn't even know each other till yesterday or something like that.
Yep.
That's cool. Okay, Jay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Georgia.
I think I've changed my mind and I'm in.
Oh, okay. All right. That's great.
Teamwork.
I love to have you in this. Johanna Brown. Johanna, you were here earlier. Are you still here?
I am.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm gonna pass only because the days for me will be Friday afternoons, and my work schedule just wouldn't allow for it.
Okay. Well, it'll be offered. We're going to be offering this again for sure, and we may try to vary up the days a bit. So I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
If it was a Friday your time, it would be Saturday for me, and it would be absolutely doable.
Perfect. Right. Okay. Megan Harrison. Megan, you were here earlier. I think you're here.
Yeah, I'm still here, 100% in. Let's advance secular leadership in Kansas.
All right. Cool. Francis, I don't think you're here. Okay. Matthew Gabriel. Matthew's not here, are they? Okay. Jeff here? Jeff was here earlier, I know. Huh. Okay. And Richard Jock. You can unmute yourself. Yeah, Richard.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in at this stage.
Okay. Well, give me a couple days to go through the list, and I've got to ask the people who couldn't be here if they're interested or not. I'll put it all together. I will send you, if you're in the first 10, I will send you an email with instructions. And if you're not in, I will send you an email. Either way, you're going to hear from me. So if you don't get an email, hit me up and say, hey, I haven't heard from you. My email, in case you don't already have it, is DRAY, Dr. D. Ray, at secularleadership.org. That's secularleadership.org, O-R-G. And so sometime in the next 2 or 3 days, I will have an email out to you saying, yes, you're in, or you're not in, but I'll put you on the waiting list. Second thing I'm going to say to you is if you're on the waiting list, you will be on the waiting list for this session. And if you want, I will put you on the waiting list. I'll put you at the top of the list for the next session, whenever that is. And you can, of course, you can make a decision then whether you want to do it then or not. But you will not get, oh crap. Me and my alarms sometimes, I'm too good at it. In any event, you will hear from me and you will not get kicked out. And if you can't make it next time, go for it. If any of you that I've just got a list, I've got 1, 2. Wow. Okay. If any of you decide you don't want to do it, please let me know as soon as possible. It'll make my life a lot easier if I know that. Okay, well, we have hit the end of our hour. I like to start on time, I like to end on time, and I will be happy to hang out for a little bit, but is there anything else we need to take care of before we call the meeting over? Okay, well then I'll say we're finished and I'm going to hang around. I can answer any questions formally or informally after this.